Hello everyone, my name is Tanya and welcome to my series, The Most Interesting People on My Timeline. This is an ever-evolving multimedia series highlighting those who have crossed my path and caught my attention online and real life. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure to check out the first 3 episodes of this series as well as the other videos that are on my channel, and make sure to subscribe. And if you're not new here, congratulations on your newly found status as a living legend. Thank you for coming back. Today's episode is with a small business that I have been in awe of for years now. I interviewed them back in 2020 for a feature on them in Stories from the Border, which was an online media company that was focusing on immigration stories about the borderlands and things like that. So I interviewed them for that, and it was really great getting to know them. I found out about them from Twitter before that. And it was just really good to get to talk to them. And I wanted to interview them again, kind of like in the same style as like when Billie Eilish does the same interview, but like every year it's a little bit different. So you get to see her growth. So that was my original intent with interviewing them again. But then I started doing this series. So I thought, I interviewed them already. Let's incorporate them into the series because they truly are some of the most interesting people on my timeline. If you'd like to read the interview that I did with them for Stories from the Border, it'll be linked down in the description box. It'll also be available on the Adelitas Apparel page on my website, taniadoes.com/Adelitas Apparel, along with other bonus content. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Adelitas Apparel. Some people have, like, I feel like a lot of people that follow me at least have read like the interview y'all did last time. But for anybody that's like new coming into this series, do you want to do like a short intro to like yourself and to Adelitas?
Yes, so my name is Atziri. I also go by Jax online, and I own Adelitas Apparel with my sister, whose name is Yahaira Peña. And we've been doing this brand because we wanted to do something that uplifted and showed up and represented our undocumented community. One of the biggest problems or issues that we came across is that a lot of merch is about Latinos and a lot of merch is about immigrants, but we don't have any merch that really talks about undocumented people. And we wanted to change that because, as much as everybody believes that this is something that we keep a secret, there's a lot of us who are trying to change that narrative, and taking an ownership of that narrative also means creating products that do represent us and that tells other people like, hey, we are here and we're not afraid. So we created this brand to do that and to also just give back to the community, which is how we do community initiatives. And through products, we are also able to just give back, not just by giving people products that they might need, but also give monetary help to other people who need it.
That was the biggest thing that like drove me to like finding y'all. One was like that y'all were like immigrant owned and like were really about the community, and that your business model was also like mostly giving back to that same community. So last time we talked, I actually like tried to compare the numbers. I remember you said like November 2019, like y'all, that's when y'all hit your first like 1K on the Adelitas IG. And when we talked, which was fall of 2020, according to Social Blade, y'all had like 6K on Instagram. And now, like, well, as of June of 2022, y'all had over 10K on IG, over 25K on TikTok, over like 4K on Twitter. So just like, I don't know, how do you feel about that growth and like all of that that's happened over those years?
It's been good. I always feel like we started with nobody listening, and it's been amazing to see how people not only support us but tell other people about us. So the only reason why we really grow is through word of mouth, and a lot of people don't really value that or don't see the value in that. But for us, it really has helped us grow and get to the place that we are at. Specifically, like on TikTok, it really is about people listening to your content and actually not just learning about you but connecting with you. So it's been great to have a community that does not is not just a community that we give to, but a community that also gives back to us.
Yeah, I remember last time we talked, y'all were like mostly on Instagram, because I think it was like just when TikTok was really, really picking up. So like, I don't know, how did TikTok change the game for y'all?
We got our first big interview, which was, we started with Be Latina News, and they really helped us a lot out. Because of Be Latina News, we also got the chance to be on Univision, which was huge for us because if you I don't know if it's the same with you, but our parents don't really value social media work. They don't see, not that it's because they do it purposely, but it's a different world from the one that they grew up in. So having that Univision interview solidified what we were doing, because our parents know what Univision is and they know the value of being on Univision. So it made them actually understand like how big Adelitas was getting. So it was nice to have that, and it's nice to have interviews with other people. We've got on a lot of podcasts with other undocumented people who do podcasts, and even just like that, stuff like that where we meet other undocumented people also trying to make a change and also changing the narrative. It's been really good to do that, not just through Instagram but through TikTok and Twitter.
I think it's all about like generations, right? So like the older generation, like our parents, like they see something on TV, that's when like you've made it, like you're on TV. But then like with us, it's like, oh, if you're like listening to a podcast you like and someone's on there like, oh wow, you did this podcast with this person, or like you did this interview with this person. I think that that's like really interesting to see, like internet and broadcast media
Yeah.
in generations. So I know you see my shirt. You guys have been seeing my shirt. It says Undocu in a fiery font. Yes, it's from Adelitas Apparel. Yes, I do shop at Adelitas Apparel. I have bought a bunch of other stuff from them. I'll link down in the description on my website a few TikToks that I've done highlighting all the pieces that I have from them. I've bought hats, shirts, earrings, even makeup from them. So to see all of that, just go into the description box or on my website. I love buying from them. They are a small e-commerce based business, like I said, run by two sisters in California. They are immigrant owned. They support the Undocu community heavy. They even have a DACA fund that covers DACA renewal fees for a bunch of community members online. And they're just an overall like a great community, and I support them by buying from them, obviously. And they have been supportive of me in my work, in always being so open to doing interviews with me, to speaking with me, and just being like really good online friends, which they're friendly to everyone that they interact with online. Adelitas has been in business since 2019, and just in that short amount of time, they have grown exponentially on all of their platforms. Like I said, I originally found them on Twitter, but they have really grown on Instagram, and they've especially grown on TikTok. They have kind of niche communities in each of these platforms. If you're on Twitter and you follow them, you probably know Atziri as Jax. If you follow them on Instagram, you probably get all their reels and their infographics. If you follow them on TikToks, you see a lot of their DIY projects. So they've kind of cultivated a unique community across all their platforms that they interact with just slightly differently. So it's been really interesting to see them grow, especially in such a short amount of time. And they just post really fun and personal content that's also very engaging. And of course, their products are amazing. They have products that they create themselves, products that they work on developing with artisans and with people in their community who are undocu or who are just immigrants, and also collaborating with other people within the community to get products for their general store as well as for their DACA fund. Adelitas' growth recently landed them a feature on Univision. Within the Latinx, Latina community, it's such a big deal to be featured on Univision because that's where most of us grew up getting our news and our entertainment from in Spanish, and some of our parents and grandparents still do. So it's really great to see them who run an e-commerce based business be able to shift into that mainstream media and TV media world, especially with Univision. Got on Univision very recently, like just how was that experience? You talked about it with your parents, but like going through that and like being more public, I guess.
Well, it was crazy. I think for us, we didn't really know we were gonna be on there until the day before. And the funny thing, the funny thing about that is like literally a minute or two before we even got on air, we had to pay our internet because we like our internet was cut off and we were like trying to figure out what to do. And it was a funny experience, like, cosas así que pasan, especially when you're Mexican. It just adds up to the story. So now we always laugh about how we had that interview and we didn't even were able to pay the internet. And it was just such a crazy day. Like my mom was figuring out how to work the TV to even get to see us, and we forget that there's a lot of things going on. Like even in that situation, it was insane because not only did we not know we were going to be there, like we found out the day before that this was going to happen. My sister also worked, so we had to figure out how she was going to be a part of it too, because as much as I was able to do this is something that we do together. Like even if a lot of the stuff falls on me because she works, I do I wanted her to be a part of it. So we figured that out too. But it was also nice to see people who didn't even know we were going to be on there to see it and then get off the interview and see everybody tagging us and telling us about how their mom was like, oh look, there's this undocumented owned brand coming on, and then them being able to be like, yeah, I actually am friends with them on Twitter, I'm friends with them on Instagram. I find that to be super nice. And I love when parents know us. Like, it's fun to have generations know who we are and also support us. That, at least for me, since I we're really close with all of our tias, we're close to all of our viejitos, so it's something to me that matters a lot.
Like our parents, or like our like aunts and uncles generation, they're very much like tried and true, traditional, like they're gonna stick to what they know. And it's really cool that you mentioned that a lot of people who are older were seeing that, because like y'all are the new generation of businesses that are coming up, of like brands that are gonna be like within the community. And for them to be open to that, I think that that's really cool too. I kind of wanted to talk about like, does that make a difference? Like when y'all are coming out with products, right? Like a lot of them are like very like kind of Gen Z, millennial catered, like the stickers and everything. But there are also like bolsas that are like anybody could use them, right? It doesn't matter your age really with any of the products. But like in marketing, has that changed of y'all wanting to like include more like older generations too?
Yeah, so we one thing that we did bring was mercado bags. A lot of people love tote bags, and we wanted to bring mercado bags because that's something that was very close to us and how we grew up in. And we've learned that our like the people that we cater to is very political, and that's still something we are really strong about. But we also realize that there's some of our like a lot of our products may not be open for other people who might not feel comfortable wearing certain things. So like our shirt that says undocumented, a lot of people are still afraid to say they're undocumented. So we started bringing in more shirts that just said the word immigrants, because we want to be inclusive of those people who are afraid still, or who are just not in a community that is safe enough to just wear something that says you're undocumented. And as for our older generation, we want to bring stuff that is also viable to them and useful to them, because a lot of our elders don't use stickers. So we want to bring like little bags or pencil boxes, stuff like that, that they could also wear or use and still support us through that.
Visibility is like a big thing. And like another one of your products that makes me think of is the Lego blocks that are like the colors of pride flags, but it's not like a pride flag, so it's not like super obvious. And like well, how did you come up with the idea for that product actually?
I always say that I'm closeted. It's a little bit different now because I also am very aware that I'm technically not. And the reasoning behind that is that I don't believe that I need to come out to anyone if I don't want to. And I don't really want that to be my story. And so I wanted to make products that allowed people who are not like me, or who are like me, who want to wear their flags, but not in a way that feels so like unsafe, because there's a lot of people who don't live in communities that are safe, whose parents might be really homophobic, and I don't want to have products that don't allow people that are like that to be out and happy and prideful. So I created the Lego blocks because, one, I really love Legos are my favorite thing, and it seems to be something really big in our community as well, which I didn't realize until recently. But I wanted to create something like that that is also not so hard to see Legos that are that specific color, because some people make discrete pride stickers, but the colors are so blatant that people might ask like, why are those colors if that item is never that color? So I wanted to make it into Legos where you always see Legos of different colors, and something that, to me, it almost solidifies how we're almost like Legos. We are building blocks that you add different identities and become yourself. So I wanted to add that into the products. And most of it is just because I do want people to feel safe enough to buy our products, to also be included in their story, where they could talk about how maybe they weren't out at some point and they were able to still be prideful and to show up for themselves through our products until they were able to be out and about and just prideful in their own very way.
Adelita is very vocal in their support for the undocu community and with being political. And of course, that comes with supporters and it does come with haters. So I talked to them about how they deal with haters, what they love about supporters, and just visibility in general, whether it be good or bad.
Like cognizant of safety, you know, for customers or for like people who buy from y'all. But I know y'all have also had like a lot of haters. A lot of people try to like deter you. I think like y'all were being sued at some point, or like people were like saying they were gonna sue you or something, or like there's a lot of jealousy. I don't know if you want to talk about that or just like how y'all, I guess y'all got over that or overcame that.
Yeah, so one thing we're learning to do is to just allow people to be and to just mind our own peace. So sometimes when we have problems or issues that come about like that, we really try to do our best to stay out of the drama, because like we started being super political and it's good, but sometimes being political or being outspoken can bring you trouble. And not saying that we are not trying to be outspoken and not be the brand who will speak up, but we also want to make sure we pick our battles. Sometimes it's just really hard and dreading, and sometimes you don't circulate yourself with the right people. And it's not because the people are bad, but there's a lot, like specifically in business, a lot of people sometimes feel jealous, or there's a lot of competition. And that's something we're learning to, if we see something like that happen, to just allow it to happen and be mindful of what we're doing and what our place is, because at the end of the day you could only really control yourself. And why try to control other people when it's not really something you can't control them, and two, it's so much energy you're going to take out of it. But we've been doing really good, and we've been having, like, the friends that we have now, who it's been super amazing. We're super supportive of each other. One of our biggest friends on the shop world, their name is Cadencia, and her and I always like share each other like ideas and stuff like that. And that's the type of community I want for myself, like a community that wants to not only grow with me, like not only wants me to grow, but also wants to grow with me. And I think that's the best type of relationship you could ever have with people. Like, have people who are not afraid of, like, wanting your success and not afraid of just see you succeed. Like, I love my friend, and I want her to even grow bigger than us, because honestly she deserves everything. And that's really the energy that we want for ourselves. So that's what we're learning to do, is to really circulate ourselves with those type of people. Adelitas, I like to make it seem, or I like to feel like it's not an actual brand. Like, sure, we're a brand, but we are also people who are very big online. So on for us, our online community is also like our friends. So we want people to feel like Adelitas is not just ours, and it's not just for products and for selling, but it's a place for them to actually get to know us, and for us to get to know them as well. And not just that, but to actually help each other out. I feel like a lot of brands forget that you are building a community, and this community also should know who you are and know what you do, and be able to feel like they could also come to you when they need help. And that's how our community has always been. I feel like a lot of people feel free to just DM us for anything, and we, if it's in our like in our reach, we help them back. So sometimes I make videos of just painting, because that's what I like to do, and that's what I hope that people see what I'm doing and think that it's something that it's if they want to do something like that we do, they could also do it too. And that if they do need the help, they could reach out to us. And it's also just fun. I think that for our business, what makes it different is that it doesn't feel like it's just ours. I think a lot of people feel like they have a piece of Adelitas as well, and I love that. And if it was just products, I think that people wouldn't feel that close to us, and they would just feel like we're selling to them. And that's not what our brand stands for.
I remember like I applied for the ambassador thing and then I got it, and then I was like, I was already doing this, like I'm excited, and I feel like I would like keep like supporting and like promoting y'all anyway. It like obviously like the little 10% off like makes it sound legit or whatever, but like yeah, like I never feel like I have to like promote y'all. Like I want to, you know.
Collaboration is a huge part of the way that Adelitas Apparel works. They recently started an ambassador program where anyone, regardless of follower count, could become an ambassador for Adelitas. Each ambassador gets a unique code, which grants people 10% off if they use that code, as well as 10% of the sale to the ambassador. And yes, I am proud to say that I am an Adelitas Apparel ambassador, triple A if you will. You can use the code taniadoes for 10% off your order. And of course, that'll help me out and I'll get 10% of that order as well. I think you should buy from the DACA Fund and from just their general inventory. They have a lot of great stuff. If you buy from the DACA Fund category, 100% of the proceeds go towards the DACA Fund, aka covering a DACA renewal fee for some.
Y'all, like all the collabs that y'all have done, and like even opening up the ambassadors program, there's not really like a follower limit or anything, like just as long as people are like genuine about being part of the community, it seems like that's why y'all work with them. And also I've seen like that's a big thing, like you say, a lot of like times, you know, like Latinx businesses are going to overlap in, you know, content or like vibe, but y'all are really unique in the community you've built, like at least from what I've seen. Like,
yeah. I really hope so. I really like, I've always been really adamant about how much I love the community that I've built. And sure, you're going to have sometimes some trouble, but at the end of the day, the community that really is the one we have, it's been amazing. And that's also why we started the ambassador program. Like, we are a very small business, and sometimes people think that because those numbers are so big to them, or especially for like an undocumented business who is so open about their status, I think it's really big, but it's not really, it's not like we're making a lot of money. And the ambassador program for us was a way that we are able to help people who do want to support us and who are so involved within our brand, for them to also get something back. So like, a lot of brands are like their PR packages, and as much as we wish we had the money to do all that, what we can do is allow people who already rep us and already support us to have a way for them to also get something back from us. And the affiliate code is one way that we could pay them back. So that's something I'm really interested in and having, because I love content creation, and I think that a lot of people feel that there needs to be this huge following just so you could be valued as a customer. And we don't, or at least I don't, well, we don't believe that, but we want to also be able to uplift those creators who do want to support us back. And I think that's a really great way to collaborate with those people who aren't shops who could collaborate with us. And even through our DACA fund, we have a lot of different collaborations that we're planning on doing, where we could also be more mindful about the products that we make. So we want everyone to be included. So since we're Mexican, we don't feel that comfortable making like clothes that are representative of like Salvadorans, and we want to start bringing like people who are from El Salvador to create a product, and we could also give back to the community through that, without having a way, like without overstepping where we are at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like in that way, like Adelitas is a lot more cooperative, a lot more like kind of like a collective, even in a small like sense. And with that, I mean, it sounds like, is it still just you and your sister that are like kind of the main ones running the show right now?
Yes, it's just me and my sister. Like, we do include our family in some product making, but the owners is me and my sister.
That's so cool. And I feel like also with that, like a lot of the community that you have built and a lot of your collaborators have come from like that online community, that online space. And like last time we talked, you were talking about like the physical store that your mom has, and like how actually Adelitas works better like digitally and online. I don't know, like what you think of that, like now the new spaces of like NFTs and that business, and like things that are only in the digital world. Like even the products are just digital and virtual.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit hard, especially considering NFTs, just because it's something that you'll never actually touch, and it's a little bit harder to see that as something viable. But I don't do NFTs, so I have created or bought an NFT, but I think that there are a lot of people who are great artists who do that, and I do see the value in that. It's just harder to really see the worth in it when you can't touch it. But as somebody who does own a business online, I absolutely love art. I think that it's a great era, especially right now. I think e-commerce went up by like 10 times bigger than what it was in 2020, and it's something that helped us grow because when we were all during COVID at our home, e-commerce was something we had on our phones, and it's been good to see internet get that big because it helps us and it helps a lot of people who don't have the same resources as other people who have all like the chance to go outside. Like for us, if we had a store that was not online, a lot of people who were outside of the not even outside of the United States, but outside of Inglewood wouldn't be able to buy from us. So it helps us reach a bigger audience. It's exciting, and it's an exciting world, especially for there's a lot of real people trying to make it out through NFTs, and I hope that they do make it out, but it's an exciting new world.
So yes, my shirt is from Adelitas Apparel. All the stuff that you see in my TikTok hauls are from Adelitas Apparel, of course, including my eyeliner. Okay, my makeup, my eyeliner is from Adelitas Apparel. So technically, I'm wearing their eyelash glue pen in black. It's meant to be eyelash glue because they also came out with eyelashes. I don't really wear falsies, so I just didn't buy them. But I wear eyeliner and it works great. It's an eyelash glue, but as you can see, as an eyeliner, it works amazing. It stays on all day. To be quite honest, I was like a pretty big follower of the e.l.f. eyeliner, but this one, it comes in a pen and it stays on all day. So I definitely recommend their eyeliner. And as part of their exciting product launches and collaborations that they're doing this year, they're also going to be launching more makeup products, specifically lipsticks.
Last time, the makeup products from Adelitas were still in development last time we talked, and now y'all released like the lashes and like the lash glue stick. So I don't know, like y'all are still working on other makeup, no?
Yeah, so the one we were talking to you about is the lipsticks that we are still working on. Because of COVID, a lot of stuff like had to stop, but we actually have some in our house already, and we want to start learning how to do launch like really good launches, especially with makeup. We want to create a brand that is as inclusive as our clothes. So we want to make sure that when we do launch them, we have everybody represented. So we're taking our time to find somebody who's a good photographer and have a good selection of people to represent our brand and the makeup that we're going to be coming out with. So it's one of the reasons why it's taking a little bit longer for us to fully launch it. But we just got those about 3 to 4 months ago. When we make a product, we send it to get made, and then when it's done, we just launch it. Like we don't have the patience. We a lot of people like wait 2 weeks to launch it, but we're so impatient. We're like the moment we have it in our hands, we want to give it to people. So that's the way it's been working so far. The only thing that does go through the process is making sure that each shirt is at least up to 5x, because we want to make sure that everybody who does want that shirt is able to buy it. Especially me, I'm a 2XL, and sometimes even 2XLs are hard to find in brands, and we want to make sure that the people that support us and the people who will want the shirt are able to buy it in whatever size that they use. So that's one thing that we are very sure of making sure that goes into it. And another thing is make sure that the fit is a fit that is actually unisex and not just a shirt that is a men's shirt saying that's unisex. So we try to be really inclusive in that way as well.
Y'all's products also, y'all also do like, y'all go to Disney and leave things around. Y'all went to Vegas and like leave bucket hats around. Where did that idea come from? And why? I guess it goes again with like a business model or branding or whatever, of like y'all just give stuff away. Like,
well, growing up, we used to go to these places, and when you don't have the money, you sometimes go and you don't leave with anything but just the experience, and that alone is worth the going and the experience. But sometimes, like when we're little, we don't understand that. Like, oh, my parents, like we feel like our parents just didn't want to buy us something. And like I remember going to like the LA County Fair and wanting to buy stuff and not being able to afford it. And now that I can, I think about other people who have the same, like who are in the same place as I am. And even like the Disney, we were giving out free pins, and at some point, well, because we were hiding them, but at some point I would see children and I would just hand it to them because I would feel like, oh, this kid might want one. And there was a lot of kids that I would see that wanted stuff and were crying, and it was nice to me to be able to have something right there with me and give it to them and see, like, not just them be happy, but I also saw the parents be super grateful, and it changes that entire day for them. So that's one thing that we want to do. We want to create a change, and we want to create just happiness. And that's also the reason why we just do sometimes videos that don't do anything with our products. We want to make people feel like not just seen and heard, but have people understand what we do and who we are. And just like, how do I not just feel good, but also like know that there's a lot of things that you could also do to make changes. And something as little as writing a letter and leaving it outside and people will find it makes a big deal. We did a flower drop off last time we talked, I believe, and even that was a big change. Like, I personally hated flowers, and I didn't like flowers, and through that process I was like, oh, it's crazy how much people have never had anyone give them flowers, and just something to me that was as simple as a flower made them so happy. And it's something that we've been wanting to do again, because it was not only nice for us to meet our followers, but it was also nice to just see people be happy, and people who didn't even know who we were get these flowers, and us meet their parents or their grandparents was really nice to see.
Were there any moments though where y'all were like, let's try to play the algorithm, or like, let's, try to like fit into it? Like, did you ever have those moments?
Well, I think like things that we do like that definitely probably help the algorithm, but it's the algorithm is such a game, and I try not to get too into that, because I've seen a lot of people who use the algorithm, and it's fun when you do it nicely, but sometimes, especially in the political world, some people just want to like fish other not fish but like almost trap people into wanting to be hateful so that they could get the comments and get the algorithm boost. But it's just not worth it. Like, for us, I was telling my friend this the other day too, that we don't get hate comments, because the moment that we get it, we delete it. Because if you allow the hate comments to be on your TikTok, for example, then it also goes to the side of TikTok that you don't want. And what's the price of having people be hateful towards you, when like that it's not good to go viral when people are being hateful towards you, or at least the way I see it. Like, I don't see the value in being hated and having that energy brought into my community, when I just want to spread happiness and positivity. And if I allow those comments to be there, it also brings people who I don't want there to be included into my community. And it's just also, I think for me, when people go through my shop or through our TikToks or our Instagram, I hope that they feel good, and that they feel empowered. So I would not want people to go through the comments and then have their day ruined because somebody's telling us to go back to our country. And instead, I want them to feel happy that they're not alone, because there's all these other people in the comments saying that they feel seen, or that they feel the same way, and that they relate to us.
And like, probably the same way that like probably hate spikes up during like when there's like stuff about DACA going on, or like any like immigration related stuff, probably like support goes up as well, right? So like, I don't know, like what is that like to have that mix of, because so like DACA's in the news, or like something political is in the news, I guess visibility hypes up for the cause and like the community.
Yeah, in that way, it's hard. What we do is, like, even with the DACA fund, when that stuff happens, we make sure to boost that instead of our own products, because we want to make sure that if we do have a boost of support, it goes to something that not only helps us but helps everybody else. And that's also a reason why when you go on our shop, the DACA fund section is different and separated from our other products, because we don't want people to feel that we are doing it only for people to buy from us too. So all of our products are separate from the DACA fund, so that they don't even have to come across like other products that won't help. And the DACA fund products are mixed with our products, but we want to make sure that it's still a clear separation, so that it doesn't feel so, because I don't feel comfortable having that. Like, we have always talked about why that's also the reason why we do 100% of the proceeds, so that we don't even take anything from that. And it's something that we try to do, take the best of our advantage, but still support everybody else.
You also had a very big donation recently, right, for like the DACA fund, and I don't know if you don't have to talk about where it came from, but like what that felt like, or if you've had other instances of that where like you just get like a really big like wave of like supporter donations.
It feels amazing. The biggest one we received so far was a $6,000 DACA donation, and it was actually from my sister's boss, well, ex-boss. She donated it to my sister because it was her 6th-year anniversary working there. And stuff like that means so much to us. And it's not because it's a lot of money, but because it shows that people do listen and do care, even if they're not directly in our community.
As I mentioned, Adelitas Apparel is currently working on a lot of really cool projects and partnerships, which they will be announcing on their social media channels. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, as well as signing up for their newsletter on their website. And while you're on their website, you might as well get yourself a little something, okay? And like I said, you can use the code taniadoes at checkout for 10% off. And they're not sponsoring this video. Just to be clear, Adelitas Apparel did not pay me to talk about them on this video. They did not pay me to make this video. I actually filmed this interview with Jax before this series was even a thing, before it was even a thought in my mind. It really was just going to be a follow-up written interview that I was going to post on my website. However, it really just evolved into this, and it wouldn't truly be the most interesting people on my timeline without including Adelitas Apparel. I genuinely think that all their products are super cute. I wear their products all the time. I have their stickers on my laptop. My friends have their stickers on their water bottles. Their sunnies are my favorite sunnies. You will see them a lot in the new vlogs that I'm coming out with. They just have such an array of products that are catered towards the Latinx and undocumented community, on top of giving back to that same community and working in partnership with them. So I truly love them. You know, I'm not just talking about it as a member of the AAA club, okay? The Adelitas Apparel ambassadors. Like I said, if you'd like more content, including my first interview that I did with them a few years ago, you can go to taniadoes.com/Adelitas Apparel. Use my code taniadoes at checkout for 10% off. Also, feel free to follow me on my social medias. I'm at taniadoes on Instagram and TikTok. And if you like this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with new episodes that are coming out, as well as with other videos that I will be doing. I have one more episode coming out before I start posting different kinds of content on my YouTube channel specifically. And then I will come back with more people that I have interviewed, some more interesting people for y'all to meet. Next week's episode is with an absolute baddie filmmaker who has been able to take their short documentary to multiple international film festivals, as well as land a deal with the Criterion Channel. And if that wasn't enough, their work has really just boosted my IQ points, made me think critically for the first time in a long time, honestly. So you will not want to miss that episode. So make sure to stay connected, make sure to stay creating beautiful things, and I will see y'all in the next episode.